आऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश्शैतानिर्रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम नाज़रीन व सामीन, आप देख रहे हैं प्रोग्राम रोशनी इम्तियाज़ नकवी के साथ। सबसे पहले माज़रत ख़्वाह हैं कि ये प्रोग्राम थोड़ी सी डिले हुई है। प्रोग्राम में कुछ डिले हुई है, कुछ टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लम्स होती हैं बाज़ दफ़ा, तो माज़रत ख़्वाह हैं कि हमने 15 मिनट लेट शुरू किया है। तो आप जैसे जानते हैं कि रोशनी प्रोग्राम में कुछ ऐसी बातें डिस्कस होती हैं जिससे आपको फ़ायदा पहुंचता है। मिसाल के तौर पर ज़्यादातर इसमें हेल्थ एंड डिसेबिलिटी इश्यूज़ डिस्कस होते हैं, और इसी सिलसिले की वजह से आज भी हम एक और प्रोग्राम आपकी खिदमत में पेश कर रहे हैं। तो इसमें हम जो है वो डिस्कस करेंगे कि सर्विसेज जो हैं वो डिसेबल लोगों के लिए जो प्रोवाइड की जाती हैं वो उसके बारे में हम डिस्कस करते हैं। क्योंकि कुछ ऐसे लोग होते हैं जो बीमार होते हैं, अचानक उनको कोई मसलन स्ट्रोक हो जाता है या उनको कोई ऐसी सीवियर क्रॉनिक बीमारी हो जाती है जिसकी वजह से वो काम भी नहीं कर सकते हैं। फिर अचानक उनको ये पता नहीं होता कि कौन सी सर्विस कहाँ से वो ले सकते हैं। तो इस सिलसिले में आज मेरे साथ ब्रेड नेट एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से मेरे साथ यहाँ शहनाज परवीन मौजूद हैं। इनसे हम पूछेंगे, लेकिन इनसे आप अपनी ज़ुबान में भी बात कर सकती हैं, लेकिन इंग्लिश में ये ज़्यादा फ्लुएंट हैं और इंग्लिश में ये बात करेंगी। तो सबसे पहले मैं इनको वेलकम करूँगा जी। वेलकम शहनाज टू the Hidayat TV today. Tell me about BradNet. What is BradNet?
BradNet is a local charity organisation based in Bradford. We've been going for a couple of years now. We offer different services across Bradford. So we do have an independent service which provides personal care and social inclusion to a variety of ages range. They can be children to adults. Some have social workers, some don't. So some people can pay for the service privately because obviously it's a domiciliary care service. The other service we have is an outreach service which offers support to people. So we go out and see them and offer them advice depending on their circumstances. So it may be something simple as a benefit check or acting as an advocate because they're having issues with school for their children or applying for what they're entitled to. So maybe making them aware of stuff like the Disability Blue Badge, discounts for places they can go to.
So what is your role at BradNet? What do you do?
My role is the project coordinator on the outreach service. So I take the lead on the service where we go out and see people which are referred to different channels. So they can be self-referred by contacting us direct. We do also have social workers refer to us as well as other health professionals and other professions from like school to help families which are struggling or don't know what's available to be out there.
Right. When somebody approach you, what is the first question do you want to know about your client?
The first question is usually their basic details and about their disability, so we've got an insight into their disability so we can direct them down the right channel, because obviously every disability's got different needs, so we need to make sure we're catering for their needs.
So do you take all type of people with all type of health condition or any particular condition?
It's any disability, but obviously currently because due to staffing and resources due to budget cuts, as you're aware, we've had to limit our age range to 25, but those that do call in just for general advice, we can offer them telephone advice.
Do you offer advice to children, young children, or just the adults?
No, it's not to 25s, but anyone over that age, we can offer them just telephone advice and direct them to the service that can help them.
And when you visit, do you have to visit? Outreach means that you go out to see and ask people about their needs. Do they come to your office from time to time to know about the services that are available for them, for all the people with disability, with different disability needs?
What we tend to do is ask them what's easier for them. Some people prefer coming to us and some people it's easier for us to go to them. So it's whatever the person feels is best for them. So we work along them rather than on our terms.
When you visit to their clients, what is the first questions, or what do you attempt to get from clients to help before you could offer them any help?
Usually it's more about how the disability affects them on a daily basis, what kind of support they're looking for, what support they've currently got, or any problems that, or barriers that they're facing. So we can support them to face them challenges, because people with disabilities do face a lot of discrimination and challenge, and you're probably aware firsthand it is difficult at times to get access to services, especially if you haven't got the knowledge of how to challenge and how to take issues further.
When people are diagnosed with any health condition, obviously today someone is fit and well, tomorrow this person may have a stroke attack or may have other health condition, become paralyzed or unfit to work. Obviously the people get frustrated, and they don't know where to go, where to get support and help, what are the services they can get. So what sort of people, when you meet people at their homes, what are their main concerns?
I think a lot of the concerns is getting the right support, because some of them, their needs are very big, that they need a social care package, but they don't know how to access social services because they've never dealt with them, or they might need OTs to get the adaptation. So like if they've had a stroke, they might need a hoist, or they might need a lift in the house, or a wheelchair. And people don't always know where to turn to, or how long the process would be, or what the procedure is. So we usually take a step-to-step guide with them and walk them and talk them through it, so they feel more at ease and know what to expect.
When you ask set of questions, what are the main questions do you want to know from your client, so that you can offer a relevant support to them?
The main questions for me personally, I think, is when we go, is to know what support they can. So like knowing what the family members are currently supporting them with, knowing the person's ability, because there might be little things that the person's still able to do. So rather than making them fully dependent on someone else, it's still about increasing their independence and letting them do the things that they are able to do, so then they do have that confidence, because your confidence and self-esteem does go on a low when you've obviously just been diagnosed with this, and you've gone from being an able body or someone who's very independent to someone who's become dependent on someone else. And we don't want people to feel like that, so we want them to be able to carry out tasks which they're still confident to do on their own.
So you try to build the confidence as well.
Yeah.
At the time. So when you mentioned that people can get help with lift, chair, or adaptations. What sort of adaptations people ask for? With obviously there are people with different health conditions. Some are wheelchair bound. Some may have little mobility. Some may have problem with having shower. Or as you mentioned about if someone is on wheelchair, going out of the house and coming in, they may need a wheelchair room, or there are all sorts of adaptations. How do you help and support them with adaptations?
What we usually do is we make the referral to the occupational therapy services. We do explain they are waiting lists, because they are very long waiting lists with the council at the moment. So people have to understand it's going to take process. It's a time-consuming process. It's not going to be done very quickly, and it's about assessing the person's needs individually. So it's not about necessarily what you want. It's what the services feel that you need, because you might feel you need a lift, but you might be able to do things where you don't need a lift, and one of your rooms downstairs, because you've got a spare room, can be adapted to a living room, to a bedroom. So it's looking at the other options available. So we've got to people have got to try and make sure that you can't limit it to one or two things, because the council will explore other options which are available to you. Because obviously they've got to look at the cost side of things, because it does cost a lot of money to get these adaptations in place.
So how successful your referrals sometimes can be when you refer people to to some of the services for adaptations. Do you have any knowledge of the success rate that people get? Can I take the call first?
Yeah, that's fine.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Who is calling and where from?
Hello.
Hello, you're live on air. May I ask your name and where you're calling from? Stop the call. ناظرین آپ ٹیلی فون کال کر سکتے ہیں 01274800411 یہ ہمارا نمبر ہے. آپ فون کر کے پوچھ سکتے ہیں کہ جیسے کہ شروع میں نے بتایا کہ انسان کا پتہ نہیں ہوتا کہ اس کو کب کس وقت کوئی ایسی بیماری لاحق ہوتی ہے جس سے وہ اس کی زندگی جو ہے وہ یکسر جو بدل جاتی ہے. ایک دن پہلے وہ انسان تندرست ہے, توانا ہے, فٹ ہے, کام کرتا ہے, اپنے آپ کو اس نے مصروف رکھا ہوا ہے, گھر کی تمام تر ذمہ داریاں سنبھالی ہوئی ہیں, لیکن دوسرے دن اچانک ایک ایسی بیماری ہو جاتی ہے. مثال کے طور میں نے اسٹروک کی بات کرتا ہوں کہ اسٹروک ایک کال لیتے ہیں پھر بات جاری رکھیں گے. جی السلام علیکم.
وعلیکم السلام.
Yeah, can I ask your name and where you're calling from?
مجھے ان کا نام آصف گل سے بات کرنی ہے.
جی کریں بات. کون بول رہی ہیں, کہاں سے؟ سوری. رائٹ اوکے. تو میں بتا رہا تھا کہ اچانک جو ہے ایک آدمی کو کچھ ایسی بیماری ہوتی ہے, مثال کے طور پر اسٹروک, تو وہ انسان پیرالائز ہو جاتا ہے. تو جب پیرالائز ہو جاتا ہے تو پھر گھر میں جتنے بھی جو وہ ان کی ایکٹیویٹیز تھیں, ان کا جتنی بھی ذمہ داریاں تھیں وہ اب نہیں پوری کر سکتے. تو اس صورتحال میں وہ انسان جو ہے ان کو یہ بھی پتہ نہیں ہوتا کہ کون سی سروس کہاں سے ملتی ہے, کون سا بینیفٹ وہ لے سکتے ہیں, کیونکہ وہ کام کرتے ہیں, ان کے پاس آمدنی ہے, ان کی ویج آتی ہے, اس ویج سے وہ اپنا گزر جو ہے وہ کرتے ہیں. لیکن اب یکدم ویج بند ہو گئی ہے, کام ختم ہو گیا. مثلا ایک سروس ایک بزنس کرتا ہے آدمی, ٹیکسی ڈرائیور ہے یا اس کی اپنی کوئی بزنس ہے, لیکن اب وہ کام کے قابل نہیں رہے. تو اگر وہ کہیں کام کرتے ہیں تو شاید کچھ عرصہ تک ان کو سک پے ملے, لیکن اگر وہ ان کے پرائیویٹ بزنس ہے تو پھر ان کی آمدن تو یکدم بند ہو جاتی ہے. تو اس صورتحال میں ان کو کیا کرنا ہے, کون سی سروسز ان کو ملیں تاکہ وہ اپنی زندگی کو دوبارہ بہتر بنا سکیں, کون سے بینیفٹس ان کو ملنے چاہیے تاکہ وہ اپنی گزر جو ہے وہ آسانی کے ساتھ کر سکیں. تو اس طرح سے یہ جو بریڈ نیٹ ادارہ ہے, یہ بہت سارے, جیسے کہ شہناز بتا رہی ہیں کہ جب یہ کہیں کسی کے گھر میں وزٹ کرتی ہیں تو ان سے پوچھتی ہیں کہ ان کی جو کنڈیشن ہے, ہیلتھ کنڈیشن ہے, وہ کس طرح کی ہے اور کس طرح سے یہ ان کی مدد کر سکتی ہیں. پھر یہ ریفر کرتی ہیں اس ریلیونٹ ڈپارٹمنٹ کو, جیسے کہ انہوں نے آکوپیشنل تھراپسٹ کے لیے بتایا ہے. میں ابھی پوچھوں گا کہ آکوپیشنل تھراپسٹ کا کتنا اہم رول ہوتا ہے. تو یہ تمام باتیں جو ہے وہ آپ کو اگر علم میں نہیں ہیں تو بریڈ نیٹ جو ہے وہ ایک آرگنائزیشن ہے, یہ چیریٹی آرگنائزیشن ہے, اس سے آپ مدد لے سکتے ہیں. یہ آپ کے لیے, آپ اس کی ویب سائٹ میں اگر جائیں گے, بریڈ نیٹ کی ویب سائٹ میں, وہاں تمام اس کی جو ہے ان کی ڈیٹیلز لکھی ہوئی ہوتی ہیں. ان سے آپ مدد لے سکتے ہیں. اور یہ جہاں بھی آپ بریڈفورڈ میں پوچھوں گا کہ بریڈفورڈ میں ہی یہ سروسز پرووائڈ کرتے ہیں یا بریڈفورڈ ڈسٹرکٹس میں پرووائڈ کرتے ہیں, یہ بھی باتیں میں سوال کروں گا. تو آپ کے ذہن میں اگر کوئی سوال ہے تو آپ بھی ضرور کریں. 01274800411 یہ ہمارا نمبر ہے, اس پہ آپ کال کر کے آپ اپنا کوشچن ضرور کریں تاکہ شہناز آپ کو شاید کوئی ایسی بات بتائیں جس سے آپ کی زندگی میں آسانی پیدا ہو. Right, Shahnaz, did you understand what I said?
I did, yes.
Okay. If you want to speak Pahari or any, if you want to mix and match, you are free to do so. You mentioned about occupational therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Many people doesn't know what is occupational therapist. When you visit your clients, you ask questions, and if you think that they need adaptations in their homes, so you said, okay, I will refer you to the occupational therapist. Tell me what is occupational therapist and how they can help your clients.
Occupational therapists, what they do is they will assess the person's ability, so that will be them mobilising and seeing what they need to help them to get about the house much more easily. So it may be something like a wheelchair ramp or extra railing up your stairs, maybe a different chair to help you sit up properly, because you might not be able to sit properly depending on if your body's been affected. Or they may give you like aids such as cutlery to help you cut food, especially if your hand's not steady, or like one of those automatic can openers to open your can. So depending on what how the person's
so there are a number of equipments that are available. As you mentioned, the can opener or the other equipment, they might be offered to help them to enable themselves independently. They can do some of the task at home independently.
So then, including that would include adaptations to the bathroom. So maybe like grab rails in the bathroom, maybe adapted seat in the bathroom, so they could able to get in and out of the bath much easier without falling. So it's looking at the person's needs and what their struggles are, and how we can put in equipment or some form of facilities to help them still carry out the task, but on a much safer basis.
So do they get in touch with you once you have referred, or that's it, when you refer some clients to the occupational therapist, they will have their own assessment and they will carry on any adaptation needs they need, or they will get in touch with you, or you work as a partners?
What would happen is once a referral is made to the occupational therapist, they would do their own referral. So they would come out and assess the person. We wouldn't have any involvement at that stage unless the person wants us to be there, just to give them that little bit of confidence, so which we will support them to be there. But most of the time, it's the occupational therapist. They carry out their own assessment. So we're just there as a supporting body if the individual wants us to be present.
Right. So apart from the occupational therapist, are there any other departments that you refer to?
The other departments we regularly refer to as social services.
Right.
So obviously they would, if we feel someone meets the needs of social services and requires a social worker, we would then refer them to Access Point, which is the main hub for Bradford Council. And then they would then do their own assessment, which they would assess different elements of the person's life, so such as their social inclusion, their personal care, the way they communicate, because all these things affect people differently, what support they've currently got, and obviously then if it is determined they need a care package, then social services on their basis of their assessment will depend what budget the person has towards their care.
So occupational therapist, social services.
Yeah.
Are there any other agencies involved when you refer? Because when people have health condition, obviously they will have different needs.
Yeah.
They may need occupational therapist, they may need social services, they may need other help and support. Who are the other agencies involved with the clients to provide the services?
The other main agencies that we've currently got involved are Disability Advice Bureau.
Right.
They offer a benefit advice centre every Monday, but it's on an appointment basis only through our agency. So they will then assess people are getting what they're entitled to, and obviously if it's the first time, say they've just been diagnosed with something and they're obviously entitled to DLA or PIP as it's now called for some people, they would support them in completing the application, because it is a lengthy process and it's very easy to miss things out, which then makes the process very longer. So we try and make things run as smoothly as possible for people, because it is very difficult, as you're probably aware. And then apart from that, we do use Family Information Service a lot. They're run by the council to get people to access activities and other social inclusion projects which may be running locally to them, just to get them out and about and meet people.
So when you visit clients, when you assess people, you refer to different agencies.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned about the benefit, that is a very important part in their life, because they have, if they worked, now they cannot work. They need something to continue their life as normal.
Yeah.
So benefit is another area that you refer. So we've got social services, we have benefits, we have occupational therapist.
Yeah.
Are there any other services that people you refer to?
Obviously, I've mentioned the family information service, but the other services are all dependent on the person's needs. So there's several, obviously, that we work alongside, but it's all depending on what the person needs. There's no point me sitting here telling you all if they're not relevant to everyone. So it's all individual and personalised towards the person.
When you assess people and you refer to, or you advise them to apply for certain benefits, what their condition should be that you think they might be eligible to claim. Used to be DLA, now called PIP, Personal Independent Payment.
Yeah.
So do you have any assessment criteria, or just you think that from their health condition you assess that these people can claim PIP?
Well, usually some of them have been told by a consultant or their GP to apply for the benefit.
Right.
And we usually just obviously forward their details on to our relevant agency, which is Disability Advice Bureau, which we use. Because obviously we're not qualified benefit advisors to let anyone know whether they are or aren't entitled to. So because that agency's got a benefit advisors, they're the best people that can tell them if they are entitled and if they aren't, because they will know the criteria much better because it's constantly changing.
Does BRADNet have any benefit advisor?
The current advisor we have is from another agency, and he spends Mondays with us. So we have him once a week, and he comes and sees our clients at our office.
So how do you take clients to apply for benefits?
We usually refer their details on to him, and then he makes an appointment direct with them. So once we've passed on the details, we don't have anything to do with it.
Okay. Is there anything else relevant to the outreach that you want to tell us? I will ask you the question about new services that BRADNet provides, but before that, I go on to that question. Do you have anything that you think I've missed that you want to tell our viewers, that something is very important that I didn't ask you?
No, nothing at the moment.
Okay. Okay, what are the new services that BRADNet provides? And give any examples.
What we've done is, obviously, BRADNet has recently just been asked with the council to joint partnership pilot a new scheme. So what we're doing is we're piloting a new scheme to help people get out and about. This scheme is piloted at the younger end. It will be in conjunction with Nell Bank, which is an organisation run by the council up in Ilkley, which provides adaptable facilities for young people. So they've got like adapted go-karts, adapted bathrooms and stuff. So people can go and do a residential there, but obviously there is a charge to that because you're using their facilities. This new service will offer people the opportunity to go out in the community. So they'll be going out as groups originally, and what they'll be doing is getting to meet other young people, making friends. So it's getting them to do things that normal teenagers would do, which we take for granted. So stuff like going to the cinema, going for a meal. And it's making people independent and see beyond their disability, because we've got to remember disability, no one asks for it, it happens, but we've got to see past it and remember at the end of the day that person's an individual and they've got as much of a right to do what everybody else does.
So these are the only young people involved in this?
This is a young people's pilot scheme which the council want to run and you see how it goes. But obviously what we are looking for is for volunteers to help take this project forward. We're aiming to start the project in the end of July, so we're looking for volunteers to participate. So anyone that's in the local area willing to give up a bit of spare time to help the young people, that would be much appreciated.
So how volunteers can help?
So what we're asking volunteers to do is just to give up a little bit of their time. There will be like a process which they have to go to. So we will have like a basic application just so we can get basic details about the person who wants to volunteer, a DBS check.
Right, okay, I'll stop you there.
Okay, sorry.
DBS, can you tell, because many people may not know what DBS is. So it used to be a different name.
Yeah, it used to be a CRB, which means a criminal record check. So it's the same thing, but they've just called it a disclosure barring service instead. But it's all done online, so it's very simple, straightforward. It takes only a few seconds to complete. But obviously that would have to be done through our office.
So there's a cost involved. Who pays?
There's no cost involved because we're covering the cost for that.
So this is what
for volunteers.
So BradNet pays any fee.
We would pay the fee for the DBS.
Right.
What we will be doing in return for people who volunteer is we would be reimbursing their travel expenses, but obviously only public transport like buses and trains. As a way of, so they're not out of pocket, and thanking them for giving up that little bit of extra time up to help other people in the community. And obviously for those that would be interested in this field on the long run and would want employment, we can also look at offering them employment at the end if that's what obviously that's the path they want to take.
So you try to build up their confidence, and then you also help them and provide support in terms of employment. If they are looking for employment, you will support them to go into employment. Is that what you're saying?
It's the volunteers that were obviously, so if the volunteer wants to go into employment, we will then support them throughout the process. Because then they will be building up experience and knowledge. Experience
and the reference.
Yeah. And then obviously the training would be provided through Bradford Council, so it'll be certified training that they'll be getting.
The question I wanted to ask that I mentioned in Urdu to our viewers, these services are available only in Bradford districts or just only a city area?
It's Bradford and district.
Bradford district. Nothing, nowhere else apart from Bradford?
No.
So volunteers, how do you encourage volunteers to join BradNet to help people, as you mentioned, young people, or maybe there are other services that volunteers can do some work for BradNet, and they build their confidence and experience, so that, as you said, it will enable them to apply for another employment.
Yeah, I think what makes us different is it's a new service, so it's something brand new that people are able to take part in, and you can get experiences in different sectors. So as well as volunteering for us, within that you can volunteer for the council. So you've not just got one reference for volunteering, you've then got two, because it's in conjunction with the council. So you can put BradNet as your reference and the council because it's a joint partnership, whole new programme. So there's a lot to gain out of it, and it's valuable experience.
So can I take the call first? Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I was calling you where from?
It's my name's Yaz.
Right.
I just had a question.
Yes, please.
I just wanted to know what services do BradNet actually offer?
What services does BradNet actually offers? She did mention, but I will ask her to repeat. Okay, thank you for your call. Okay, thanks. Can you reiterate what you said about the BradNet services, because this caller wants to know what sort of services BradNet provides.
BradNet offers an independent living service, which is obviously a service we provide to young and older people with disabilities, which does provide personal care within that, along with social inclusion. So that is a service which people can buy the service privately if they wish, if they've got the funds, or if they've got a social care package or direct payments, they can then obviously have the package according to the hours they've been allocated.
So, so you explained what the services BradNet provides. Because there are so many people doesn't know how to get in touch with BradNet, because when when people are normal,
Yeah.
lives a normal life, and they work, they do all sorts of activities, they involved in the sports, they have other so many other activities, but suddenly they become, very severely ill or disabled.
Yeah.
So they don't know, as I mentioned earlier, where to go, where to get help from. How do they get in touch with BradNet? How would they know that BradNet is there to provide some relevant support to them, to enable them to, as you mentioned earlier, to get some help from occupational therapists, social services, or benefits there if they are entitled to? How they get in touch with BradNet?
They can get in touch with us through our website, which is www.bradnet.org.uk. Which does have our telephone number and an email address for an inquiries inbox, which will then get picked up by someone in the office. The telephone number, if they wish to just call us direct, it's 01274 224444.
Right. Tell us about the opportunities in detail. You have plenty of time. What sort of opportunities do people have at BradNet?
Do you mean in terms of staff or in terms of clients?
In terms of services, for example, if people are get in touch with BradNet, how would they benefit?
What we would do is obviously speak to them regarding whatever the inquiry is and then take it from there. So it just depends on the person, and if we feel we're not the appropriate or the relevant service to help them, and there's a service that's more specialised, then we would then direct them in the angle of the other service, because we want people to get the appropriate support and the best support they can get. So we would obviously channel them to the right services if we're not the best or the appropriate one for them, because we've got to remember we're humans, we don't know everything at the end of the day, but we've got to make sure people are put in the right direction.
Can I take the call first? Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikum.
Yeah, I was calling and where from?
My name's Adnan. I'm 29 years old.
Right.
I want to find out if I'm entitled to PIP or is it going to be DLA?
Okay. Thank you. So keep watching. Thank you for your question. Yes, Adnan is 29 and he wants to know, I didn't ask him, he must have a disability. Can he claim DLA or PIP? DLA is disability living allowance, some people may not know, and PIP is newly introduced benefit that is equivalent to DLA. So PIP, what benefit? I know you said you're not you're not qualified to advise on benefits, but in general, what would be your advice nowadays? Can he claim PIP or DLA?
Due to his age, it would be PIP, and it depends if he's claimed DLA before or not. So I would say most likely, I'm assuming that he has got a disability, he would be able to, but obviously I would still advise that he goes to a specialised service just to give him the correct advice. But because of the age cut off, it would most likely be PIP.
So anyone, like Adnan asked the question, anyone comes to you, you refer to the benefit advisor who is qualified and will be able to give a proper advice whether this person is entitled to claim PIP or DLA.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll continue on to the question I asked, but before that I'd like to address the viewers. जी नाज़रीन, आप आज की जो गुफ्तगू है वो शहनाज के साथ सुन रहे हैं। इसमें ये इन्होंने बताया कि ब्रैडनेट एक अदारा है जो आउटरीच, चूँकि ये आउटरीच प्रोजेक्ट कोऑर्डिनेटर हैं, ये इन्होंने बताया कि आउटरीच जो सर्विस है वो किस तरह से उन किन अफराद के लिए किन अफराद को दी जाती है। बेसिकली जब भी कोई आदमी अचानक उसकी ऐसी कोई डिसेबिलिटी उसको हो जाती है या फिर कुछ ऐसी बीमारी है जो आहिस्ता 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 डेवलप करते करते अब वो इस स्टेज पर आ गए हैं कि अब वो डिसेबल हो गए हैं, उनकी जो नॉर्मल एक्टिविटीज़ हैं वो नहीं, उनको उनमें हिस्सा नहीं ले सकते। तो अब उनको क्या करना है کہ انہوں نے اگر بریڈ نیٹ کے ساتھ ان ٹچ کیا ہے, ان کو اپروچ کیا ہے, تو وہ آؤٹ ریچ پروجیکٹ کوآرڈینیٹر شناز ہیں یہ, یا ان کا ممبر آف کوئی اسٹاف آپ کے گھر آپ کو اپائنٹمنٹ دیں گے, آپ کے گھر وزٹ کریں گے. وزٹ کے بعد آپ کا آپ کی اسیسمنٹ ہوگی. پھر ایک فارم ہے, وہ ایک سیٹ آف کوشچنز جو شہناز نے بتایا ہے کہ وہ کوشچن کریں گی. اس کے بعد یہ فیصلہ ہوگا کہ آپ کو کس سروس, کون سی سروس جو ہے آپ کو ملنی چاہیے. مثال کے طور پر جیسے کہ انہوں نے بتایا ہے کہ آکوپیشنل تھراپسٹ. آکوپیشنل تھراپسٹ کیا ہیں, کیونکہ بہت سارے جو ہمارے ویورز ہیں جن کا واسطہ ہی نہیں پڑا ہے. میں خود بھی جب میری جو آئی کنڈیشن ڈائگنوز ہوئی تو مجھے بھی نہیں پتا تھا کہ یہ کون کون سی سروسز کہاں سے ملتی ہیں. یہ جاننے کے لیے مجھے بہت عرصہ لگا. تو اب چونکہ اپرچونیٹیز ہیں, ہدایت ٹی وی موجود ہے, اور یہ ایک ایسا پروگرام ہدایت ٹی وی سے روشنی پروگرام نشر کیا جاتا ہے جس کے ذریعے سے آپ کو انفارمیشن پرووائڈ کی جاتی ہے. آپ کو گھر بیٹھے آپ کو پتہ چلتا ہے کہ اگر آپ کو اچانک کوئی ایسی بیماری لاحق ہوتی ہے, آپ کو پتہ بھی نہیں ہے کہ آپ نے کیا کرنا ہے. کیونکہ میں جیسے کہ میں نے پہلے بھی بتایا کہ میں سٹیزن ایڈوائز بیورو میں بھی ایز اے والنٹیئر کام کرتا ہوں, اور وہاں ہمارے پاس بہت سارے ہمارے کلائنٹس آتے ہیں, اور یقین کریں کہ ایسی بیماریاں لوگوں کو ہوتی ہیں, وہ ڈسیبل ہو جاتے ہیں اچانک. ان کی سمجھ میں نہیں آتا ہے کہ اب وہ کیسے کون سی سروسز, کون سے بینیفٹس وہ حاصل کر سکتے ہیں تاکہ وہ اپنی زندگی جو ہے وہ اس طرح سے تو نہیں گزار سکتے, لیکن کچھ کسی حد تک ان کو ہیلپ مل سکے. تو اس پروگرام کا مقصد یہی ہے, یہ دعائیں دیں ہدایت ٹی وی کو کہ جس پلیٹ فارم سے آپ کو گھر بیٹھے بٹھائے یہ انفارمیشن ملتی ہے. اور مجھے یہ بھی بتایا گیا ہے کہ پروگرام کا وقت بھی ختم ہو گیا ہے, تو میں ابھی شہناز کو کہوں گا کہ 1 منٹ کے اندر اپنا کوئی آخری پیغام اگر دے سکتی ہیں تو دیں تاکہ ہم پروگرام کو وائنڈ اپ کریں. ابھی اینی تھنگ ٹو سے, any message?
No messages. Just
Any
if
last message?
people wish to get in contact, to either get in contact through our website or
just a website, I think,
or our
we can't
telephone
give
number.
We can't give the phone number on air, but they go log on to the website, and they can get information and phone number, and
there.
if they want any advice or services, they can call BreadNet.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you very much, Naz, for coming
you
on to
for
the show.
having me.
Thank you so much. جی ناظرین, آج کے پروگرام کا وقت جو ہے ختم ہو چکا ہے. بہت ساری باتیں جو ہے وہ بتائی جا سکتی ہیں اس پروگرام میں. انشاءاللہ آپ کو بتاتے رہیں گے. ہمارے گل بھائی کو بھی دعا میں یاد رکھیے, اور ہدایت ٹی وی کو ان کی سپورٹ جاری رکھیں, کیونکہ ہدایت ٹی وی اگر ہوگا تو اس طرح کے پروگرام آپ کی خدمت میں پیش ہوتے رہیں گے. آپ کو گھر بیٹھے بٹھائے ہر قسم کے مذہبی ہوں یا دیگر جو آپ کو انفارمیشن ہے آپ کو ملتی رہے گی. تو گزارش یہ ہے کہ ہدایت ٹی وی کی سپورٹ کریں, جیسے کہ اپیلز ہوتی رہتی ہیں, 14 پاؤنڈ ماہانہ دیتے رہیں تاکہ ہدایت ٹی وی چلتا رہے, اور آپ کو گھر بیٹھے بٹھائے آپ کے جو سوالات ہیں ان کے جوابات ملتے رہیں. میری طرف سے میں اجازت چاہوں گا, اور میری طرف سے اللہ حافظ. اگلے ہفتے پھر انشاءاللہ نئے پروگرام کے ساتھ آپ سے ملاقات ہوگی. تب تک کے لیے مجھے اجازت دیجیے. اللہ حافظ.